Everyone in the church universe believes we are on mission, that we as the church have a mission, that those who follow Christ have a specific meaning and purpose for being here. This is not new or groundbreaking. From Christ's declaration before his ascension, giving us the Great Commission, the church has embraced the notion that we have been given a task, a mission to perform. Now, each individual Christian and each Christian organization over the years approaches that mission in a variety of ways, but very few would deny the call to mission. This presents an interesting situation in regards to the theology of me. Because of the obvious influence of the theology of me on the American church, it's easy to assume that this philosophy will affect the way the church approaches its mission. One of the newest buzzwords amongst church leadership worldwide is missional. If you were to do a Google search on the word missional, you would discover 716,000 results and over 40 pages with the word missional in the title. If you were to do a title search in Amazon, you'll find over 1,200 results. The term missional is so common amongst the church class that a search of the phrase missional conference will produce over 1,000 entries. This concept is, at least in name, extremely new. Ngram Viewer reveals the phrase missional church does not appear until roughly 1999 and sees a precipitous increase of 500-fold by 2008. This is a 50,000% increase in roughly 10 years. Now, what this tells me is that the concept of being missional is an idea that is flexing a great deal of influence on the modern church, and it would behoove us to discover what form that influence is taking. Now, as with most concepts, especially concepts within the church, they often start out with one meaning, oftentimes a great meaning, but after several incarnations, the original concept can be all but lost. A principle of great integrity that is producing results can be co-opted by those who see the pragmatic value of associating with a groundbreaking idea. And like the childhood game of telephone, in no time at all, the concept can be manipulated to produce never intended results. I believe the original idea behind a missional mindset reflected brilliantly the mission call we have as a church. Christ called us to go into all the world, making disciples, and inherent in that breadth of call is the reality of cultural diversity. Ed Stetzer, president of Lifeway Research, defines missional as actually doing mission right where you are. Missional means adopting the posture of a missionary, learning and adapting to the culture around you while remaining biblically sound. He further condenses the statement to say, missional means being a missionary without ever leaving your zip code. I believe Tim Keller is even more precise when he describes it in terms of identifying oneself with the non-believer and how we function as a church body with a cultural sensitive methodology while addressing the same issues inherent in the culture where the church ministers. That last point is the one that I believe gets most lost as we attempt to make our mission reflect our selfish proclivities. We become enamored with the method without embracing the responsibility of addressing the culture's issues. See, I believe missional for many has become a methodological approach that reflects the culture in which we minister, as opposed to addressing issues within the culture in which we minister. Scott Thomas, the former president of Acts 29 Network, identifies this problem when he writes, "The term is used in a way to mean anything that is evangelistic or contextualized or edgy, and sometimes just defined in the cool category. We're missional because we play indie rock, have a soul patch, and worship in a dimly lit warehouse with candles and artwork. Its meaning gets lost in the method by which it is employed. For mainline churches, missional is an attempt to resurrect its roots and passion for evangelism. For those tired of organized religion, it may be a defining word to live like Jesus without aligning with a church that is perceived to be irrelevant. In most cases, missional is described by a method one uses to evangelize. We see missional as doing things in a method that our culture will accept and think is cool. I remember hearing someone say, "Our church just did a spoof of The Bachelor. I love our church. We're so missional." And even when we embrace the concept described by Keller as addressing the issues inherent in culture, we see that as identifying with what the culture cares about and then structuring to care about the same things. If our culture cares about saving the whales, we'll care about saving the whales. If our culture cares about being successful in business, we will attempt to help people be successful in business. We want to attract people, and one of the best methods for attracting people in your culture is to reflect the values or the felt needs of your culture. When we do this, I believe we ultimately betray Stetzer's definition, because we often do not stay biblically sound, and we defy Keller's definition because we do not address the issues of our culture. Our culture does not need a church that validates its values. It needs a church that translates God's values into its language and then calls the culture to lay down its idols and pick up his cross. We live in a culture that worships financial success, craves entertainment, and seeks personal rights and personal acceptance without exception. When we simply incorporate the idols of our culture into our gospel message so that we can attract more people, we are not staying true to the missional mantle we all feel we have been given.